Good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm not sure how many people are going to be watching because I didn't set it up earlier. Um, but I've been out today doing an interview, so I'll wait and see how many people come on board. Timbuktu, Merlin, Sue Ellen, Jaylan. Let me have a look. Do me a favour and tell me if you are seeing and hearing me. Hopefully, all my buttons are clicked and you can see and hear me. Touch wood, I should be on all of these things. Let's see, I'm waiting for a 5B5 to come back to tell me that you can see and hear me. Yes, I'm still in the motorhome. It's been commandeered at the moment. It's really nice living in such a. It's so lovely being in a motorhome like this, got everything in it. And I'm waiting for someone to be feeding me grapes in a minute. Right, so let me have a look. JDAM 5B5, everyone can see and hear me. Just see if you can, one, hit the like button, two, subscribe if you're not subscribed, but three, and most importantly, share. Because Rumble is the only place that allows complete freedom of speech, where you can talk about anything quite openly, and they do it, right? So, again, I'm going to I had to pull that screen down slightly because I'm going to move this over. You'll get this. Oh, look, that's the front of it. That's a seat. It's a Mercedes. Someone is being very kind to us and changing the cartridge for the toilet. They said it's full up. It only got charged last night, so someone is full of shit in this place. Let's have a look. Everyone watching, well done for today. Woohoo! So the major point is, and I'm not expecting to get loads of people. I'm not going to be on that long, right? So the person I went on with today was Liam Tuffs, and it was everyone pushing forward and writing. And he said, I used to get so many messages saying, please have Graham Moore on. He said, in the end, I thought, I'm going to have him on there. Now, he knew me through, I won't go into detail, with someone else, and I don't think he particularly gets on with the other person, and nor do I anymore, like 10 years ago. And we had a really good conversation. He said it's scheduled for an hour. I got there early. We was in there having a chat, etc. And then we went live. None of it was scripted, right? He doesn't do scripted. He asked me direct questions and I give him direct answers. You will all see this when it comes out. He was like, he went, what do you think of Israel? I said, I don't give a fuck about Israel. In fact, I said, fuck Israel. He said, what do you think about Palestine? I said, fuck Palestine. And then I said, listen, I'm about England. We've got enough of our own problems without anyone else in the world. Let's sort this country out first. And we had a really good discussion about England, about the Constitution, about the difference between British and English, the fact that you're English, it's been erased by the British, and all of them things are out there. So we've just gone crack straight on. The interview was scheduled for an hour. It went on for an hour and a half. At the end of it, Liam said to me, do you know something? That was fucking amazing. He said, I was intrigued. He said, a lot of things you was talking about, I've never heard of. He said, I've never heard of the Jesuits. Who the fuck are the Jesuits? We spoke about the Jesuits, the Jews. I said to him quite explicitly, because he said, like, people are saying that I won't say anything about Israel. He said, and I said to him, it's not all, I said, listen, it's obvious, it's not all Jews, right? I said, there's a Jew like me and you, and then you've got the other two groups. I said, it's like flipping a Talmud coin. One side of the coin is the Zionists and the other side. He said, so what do you think of Zionism? I said, it's completely incompatible with Christianity. It's incompatible with us. Just as bad, if not worse, than Islam, right? Spoke to him about the Talmud, and I said, when you was in Israel, I said, did you mention to anyone, any of the Jews out there, Jesus Christ? I said, because if you had done, they would probably spat at you. And he went, no, I didn't. So I just went out there as a tourist. I said, they probably thought you was a Jew, right? I said, did you preach from the Bible? Because if you did, you'd be arrested and put in prison. And he went, really? And I said, yeah. And I said, and as for Israel being a terrorist state, it is, right? And then I explained the situation where they was killing our soldiers, they was booby trapping their bodies. I said they bombed the St. David's Hotel, they bombed the British into submission. And then I went all through that. I said Ergon and the Stern Gang. I said, and then the leaders of the terrorist Israeli group or Jewish group then become the prime ministers of Israel. And you're telling me it's not a terrorist state? He was like, I didn't know any of this, right? So we're talking through this, and there was lots of other things that come up about European Union, etc. But at the end of it, whether he was just saying it or not, I don't know. But he said that's one of the best podcasts I've ever done. He said all the information and he said the thing is, he was saying you just flow with the information and answer the questions. He said a lot of the people that come on here, they can't answer things like, hang on a minute, I can't think of that, and we have to cut it. He said that whole interview is an hour and a half, and not a single edit is needed. We can just go bosh and put it straight out there. I said, yeah, I know. I said, well, I do lives every night. I speak to the audience. I answer live questions. I do seminars. I talk to people and just present them with the information. So we spoke about the Constitution of England, how important it is, how important England is to the world, the fact that England is 1,100 years old. And we went through all of that. And he said, I've got a funny feeling you're going to get quite a few coming on this video. And he said, if people ask questions, he said, can you answer them? I said, of course I can. So at the end of it, he said, I definitely want you to come back. And he said, if we get a list of questions and then you can just answer them for the audience. He said, but this highlights things that a lot of people, they're not being told this by the mainstream media or even anywhere else on alternative media. I said, no, they're not. I said, I'm not. And again, I said, he said, so you've got nothing against the Jews? I said, no, I haven't. I said, we've got Jewish members, right? But I said, you have to understand, you have to be honest, Liam, right? There is a Jewish mafia. You can't talk about the Jews, right? That tells you who they are, right? They're very powerful people. We also had a reasonably in-depth conversation about Jesuits. He knew nothing about Jesuits. And I spoke to him briefly about the Jesuits, who they were. I said, they're just as dangerous to the Jews, if not worse, right? I said, so everyone talks about the Jews. How about we talk about the Jesuits, right? And the fact that England exiled them, said, we don't want you here. So everyone says, oh, we banned the Jews, we did this, we did that. But no one ever says, we also banned the Jesuits, who are Catholics, right? And the reason, and I explained to them, I said, there was a civil war in Switzerland in 1848. And the Swiss banned the Jesuits. Lots of people throughout Europe banned the Jesuits, right? So we had a really big discussion on that. Early part of the interview was talking about me being in prison. Charlie Bronson, I think he was quite shocked at some of the things I told him about that. I mean, I've actually met him. And then told him how I got into the law, how everything was going on. I said the Palestinians that they alleged bombed the Israeli embassy. I said that was a lot of bollocks. It was complete setup. And we went all through that. It was a really good interview. And he said, I get accused of being pro-Israel. He said, I'm not pro-Israel. I said, I'm pro-English. That's it. I said, I ain't got a problem with the Scots, the Welsh or the Irish. England's got its own set of problems. We need to resolve them. If you want to know how to resolve them, I will tell you the Constitution, everything that's happened has happened constitutionally and through law in the past. All you got to do is go back, find it and say, how did we deal with it then? That's how we dealt with it. Let's deal with it today. So he asked me about Rupert Lowe. And he said, "Do you trust him?" I said, "I don't trust anyone." It's just as simple as that. My conviction is for England. My belief is in England. I don't trust anyone anymore, especially anyone involved with any form of politics. But I did say he has got a good team. We think he is listening to certain aspects of it. What really is needed are for those that are in Great Yarmouth in particular to email Rupert Lowe and say, listen, why don't you, as a team, get Graham to give you a personal for your team seminar, right? So you can listen and understand what the Constitution is. You can ask questions. I'll answer their questions directly. There's nothing that they could potentially put to me that I couldn't answer in terms of the English Constitution. So that was it. So I'm going to ask the audience what you think. Hopefully this is going out currently. So it is on the dozen. Liam Tuffs, he said it was the best interview that he's done. He said it was a great podcast, really great. He said it's going to set a few people alight. Because I actually said to him, the problem you're going to have is you're not going to like some of my answers. You're not going to like what I tell you. But everything I tell you is the truth. It all comes from law books. It all comes from archived material. None of it is made up. It's all provable, right? And he just let the whole conversation flow. He never interrupted. He was like, there was a few bits where he went, "Wow," where I said, "Fuck Israel," but I also said, "Fuck Palestine." I don't mean that in a negative way towards Palestinians and the kids and all that. I'm talking about we shouldn't be involved with the Levant, right? We've got problems in England. Let's solve our problems in England first, and then talk to people. Oh, John, you're back in 1943. So, John Godley is in there. Let me have a look. Mudhalls. Any questions from the audience? This isn't going to be a long one. Tomorrow, I'm making a decision. I might even contact him whether I come back to London and stay in Islington and get an osteopath look at my back, or whether I drive back to Devon tomorrow. But I don't think I can do that because Friday I've got an interview with another channel. Then I've got another Deanne, just to let you know, well done. I'm now booked in to another very large, so Deanne from Dartford. I am now booked into another very large YouTube channel, 93,000, I think, subscribers that wants to talk to me. And that was all arranged by Deanne. So well done. Don't forget, you are the people that are getting this message out. We work as a team. You start contacting people and say, talk to Graham. We need you to talk to Tucker, with Tucker Carlson. Say, speak to Graham Moore. It works, right? We need you to send emails to Restore Britain and say, why don't you have a personal seminar about the English Constitution with Graham? And he will literally lay it out for you. And everything that I tell people is absolutely true. Merlin, everyone's out there. So is Deanne out there? Deanne, are you out there in the audience? If you are out there, Deanne, but again, Deanne wrote an email and the channel come back to her and said, yeah, we'd love to have Graham on. Do you know him? Blah, blah, blah. And she went, yeah. And then she's given me the email address. I've sent the email to the channel and they went, yeah, no, we definitely want you on. Right? So you're doing that. If you want me on some of these, especially the larger platforms, I'm not being negative to smaller platforms. I go on small platforms as well. That ain't an issue to me, right? I know what they do and they don't want people understanding. What's that? I'm doing it for you, DD. Well done. And don't forget, we have got a seminar coming up in Barrow Furnace, I think it is, up in Cumbria, on the 28th of February. I need people to get that message out there. We want as many people as coming up there. I've got to go and charge a load of kit up, which I haven't done at the moment. Got to go and find my charger for it. Tracy Tourism, Deanne, well done, girly. Yeah. Gary 07887 is out there. Chuck Money is out there. Ace and Jace, how you doing, Jason? I'm not far from you, funny enough, still here. We just went out for a meal because I bought the lady and gentleman who this belongs to, who have allowed me to stay in it, and it's the dog bollocks, right? It is the nuts. In fact, if I had 100 grand, I'd probably buy it, but I haven't. But it's a lovely motor on. Not that it's worth that now. It's probably worth about, I don't know, I would book this one in, if I guessed, between 60 and 70,000. Because they lose a lot of money from new. Daddy D, Andy Burgess here. Who's that? Andy Burgess. Hello, Andy Burgess. Rain Bowman. Good to hear you. We'll be on the dozen. Yeah. Fantastic. And I am honestly saying it was a pleasure. He wasn't shocked. He wasn't aggressive. He wasn't any of them things. He said, I'm going to ask you questions. Just tell me the answers. And I went, that's fair enough. And we had a proper conversation. Then off camera, we was having a conversation about certain things as well, which I won't go into. Not major. A few months' time, he'll probably bring them up. Oh, good. So she's already booked it, Deanne. The lady is, I don't know if you want to say who it is. She's booked in my diary. For the 1st of March. I think it's the 1st of March. It's the Monday anyway. So even if I'm doing it from Cumbria, I should be able to do it. As long as... And I've also got my mobile mini. So even if I'm somewhere that's got really bad reception, like I am here at the moment, this is all connected to my mobile mini. Mobile mini being me and Starlink and transmitting. It's so easy. I've got to get a couple of other connections. I'm going to have to try and do that. And then I've got to charge up something else as well. Chuck Money, who are you talking with today, Graham? Liam Tuffs from the Dozen for an hour and a half. And he actually said to me, I could have gone on for hours with that. He said it was such an interesting conversation. Let me have a look. Everyone out there, so don't forget, the reason I'm late is because we went out for a meal. There's some things I want to say and then I have to stop myself, not because I'm self-censoring, but for another reason. But so with the lady and gentleman who this van belongs to, I took them out for a meal tonight to thank them for letting me stay in this place. So, and then we got back a little bit late. Let me have a look. Please help us raise the cash for the court case. Yeah, it's on there, whether we do or we don't. There are some other things I could tell you about, a few things going on in the background. DD, my gluten-free pancake yesterday used gluten-free flour and used lard. Well done. I have a theory. Juicy and Lucy, if anyone wants to email Tucker Carlson to get Graham on interview, emails info TCN Network and press TCN Network, blah, blah, blah. Why not give Graham a follow on X? Yeah, that would be really helpful. If anyone wants to email Tucker Carlson's really important. We've got to try and get me on that. Listen, just on Twitter alone, he's got 21 million followers. Once we start talking about the Constitution long form, it'll be excellent. You talk for England, DD. Yeah. Thank you, Juicy and Lucy, with email with that. Sounds Butte, I have a theory. Let me have a look. 111. All right, any questions? And again, it went into a number of different subjects. So it was fantastic. I was really pleased, and he is a nice fella. And it was a nice location as well. Took me about an hour and 20 minutes to get from here to there. Just to let you know. So don't forget, we will be going. Trying to think what's on this week. So this Friday, I think I'll be on with Crypto Rich. He's going to ask me some questions about various things. One of the things that was, I wouldn't say funny, but I said I only use the language, if you want to call it that, of my ancestors. So a couple of times he was talking about Sharia, Islam and Muslims, and I said, yeah. So what you actually mean is what our ancestors called Mohammedans. That's what they're called. You should refer to them as Mohammedans because that's what they are. And he said he hasn't heard anyone say that in a long time. I said, well, that's because their program used to use the term Muslim. They're not Muslims, they're Mohammedans. Explained everything about the British Nationality Act. Danny D, does he know about Q drops? Does he know about Q drops? No, but it's a lot. It's an interesting subject. J-Dan, hi all. Anything else anyone wants to ask me? Or can I now leave and start munching through? Don't forget, I've got to get back. I don't know. I've got to work out what time we're leaving. We've got to pack up and piss off. Thank you for the donations. Well done, DD. Can't wait to see that podcast. Again, he was really pleased. I got there early, by the way, and he was really quite pleased. That's it. Any other questions? Yeah, thank you for the donation. And Deanne's out there. Let's see what we're going to do now. John Golding, John Godfrey Harding. Let me have a quick look. Did you push Rumble, Graham, on Liam's show? Yeah, I did push the Rumble stuff. And I said to him, it was Devin Nunes that said get onto Rumble. It's never going to be. It's always going to be the free speech platform. He did ask me about Twitter, and I said, well, Twitter banned me, even under Elon Musk. And I said all I was doing was talking about England and the English Constitution. We need Graham to educate Rupert Lowe about English law. As he likes the union. Yeah. And all we've got to do is make sure he understands if we pull away from the statute union and go back to a common law union, everything will be right again. It's not difficult to understand. It's quite simple. That's it. I am going to say good night and God bless. I know it's only a short one, probably less than 30 minutes. But I'm going to start packing up and getting all my gear ready for tomorrow. That's it. Au revoir, tiddly poo, and I will see you tomorrow. Unless anyone has got any questions. DD, will you be talking to Rupert Lowe on English law? Only if you keep sending him messages. And the team, try and get into them different people. Let me have a look. Yeah, God bless all, and I'll see you tomorrow. And Jason, if you're out there listening, contact. If I was you, I'd contact Restore Britain and tell them you want to stand as a councillor, and then hopefully we can get some support for you in the area, right? But one way or the other, we need you need to be on the ball. When does the Liam show air, DD? That's a good question. I'm not sure exactly. I imagine it'll be up pretty lively though. He was very keen on getting it out. And he'd watched me on a number of shows. He actually said to me, you're at a different level. He said, some of it goes over my head, but to you it's simple. I said it's simple because I know it, but it is simple. All our problems are simple to solve. Could we talk sometime about right to bear arms? Yeah, we can talk about that anytime you want. In fact, I'll do a full show on it shortly. Okay, Graham, thank you. See you all soon. Me and Les will see you in Barrow. Oh, well done. Thank you, DD, for all the hard work. Slowly catch a monkey. We will get there. We are getting there. People are now seeing it. But I want to emphasise, I am only part of a team. You are that team. You're getting the message out there. All I'm doing is speaking for all of us when I stand there and say I speak for England. Right? So it is so important. It's been proved again by a number of different people. When you write the emails, whether it's Liam Tuffs, whether you go on there and say, get Daddy Dragon on, you want to get Graham Moore on, speak to him about the English Constitution, and then all of a sudden people are going, like, bang, yeah, we'll get him on. We want to hear this information. Where we go one, we go all. Absolutely. That's it. I'm off. Chili poo. Well, not to mention I've just had something to eat and my eyes are rolling. See you all later. Don't forget what I believe in. The Constitution is the solution. And I said to him tonight, I've got respect for the opinions of EFO-nationalists. I'm not an EFO-nationalist, but 95% of our problems and the EFO-nationalist problems would be solved by enforcing the English Constitution and removing the British from the... That's it. Bye-bye.